The Antichrist, Deontay Kyle, host of the Chicken and Grits podcast.
So, Deontay Kyle is the Antichrist, and my ancestors are demonic, and Charlie Kirk is a martyr because he was a Christian man. He's a martyr, and he went to heaven because of Jesus Christ.
So let me get this straight. Praying to our ancestors, and our ancestors were demonic, but not the white people that enslaved them and brought them here.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes. Look at you.
Spooky season, they wear the bombs. They move like spirit, here they come. Don't be the girl who feeds a clown. He'll drain your peace and drag you down. Crusty back door, no free stay, no red flag.
Imagine calling your ancestors, the ones who were there to pave the way for you, calling them demonic. This is what's going on TikTok right now. So this young man basically was talking about venerating your ancestors and all that stuff, and all of Black TikTok, mostly Christians, coming out saying that it is basically demonic. So this is the month of honoring your ancestors, you know, because Halloween is the Day of the Dead, and also it's the month for the ancestors. That's when the veil is the thinnest, and this is what we're doing on TikTok. Imagine you calling your ancestors demonic, meanwhile you are worshiping and honoring and venerating ancestors of people who look nothing like you, who literally enslaved you, and the people, our ancestors, were the ones who fight to get us freedom. That's like Haitians saying, oh, we hate voodoo, when voodoo was the main reason why we're no longer slaves. Let's get into it, because I have a whole lot to say, and you guys know this channel. This is what we do. Let's get into it.
The Antichrist, Deontay Kyle, host of the Chicken and Grits podcast.
So, Deontay Kyle is the Antichrist, and my ancestors are demonic, and Charlie Kirk is a martyr because he was a Christian man. He's a martyr, and he went to heaven because of Jesus Christ.
The craziest part about people cooking Deontay Kyle is the fact that if you yourself were to sacrifice and bust your ass for your family, even get beat up in the street, go through, oppression, prejudice, whatever, and you were to fight through it and try to provide for your children and your family, just for a generation or two later, for them to call you a demon, it's just diabolical. I mean, it's actually not funny. It's actually extremely sad. But if you can't laugh, you have to cry. So I prefer to laugh. But it's actually extremely sad how many people will call their own bloodline demonic.
So your ancestors have been deemed demonic, classified as demonic, and you want to carry that rhetoric and that narration. You want to carry that narrative of classifying them as demonic. According to who are they demonic? Who classifies them as evil? So when you see images like this, you think they are demonic. According to who told you that?
I quite literally don't see anything wrong with what Deontay Kyle said. I mean, I'm an atheist, agnostic atheist at that. I don't see nothing wrong with what he said. I'll tell you who did die for me. My ancestors in Haiti did, when they whooped Napoleon's ass and gained their independence. That's who died for me. I'm just saying. And again, y'all, everyone who believes in what they believe, you guys are allowed to believe in what you believe. I'm allowed to believe in what I believe. But calling my ancestors demons is crazy. If my ancestors was white, would you feel the same?
To that black woman that got into her feelings and said that, after Deontay Kyle said about honoring or venerating your ancestors, and she got on here bold enough on this here interwebs and said that the ancestors are demons or your ancestors are demons. My question, wouldn't that make, because your ancestors are people you related to, people way back when or whatnot. Wouldn't that mean if your ancestors are demons, you're related to demons, but that will also make you a demon? So, in that case, why are we listening to anything you got to say, you heathen? Hey guys, just a little tip. Christians are not saying your ancestors are demonic, like your grandparents, your parents' parents, your grand. We're not saying that they're demonic. What we're saying is that if you are praying to your ancestors, that act is demonic because your ancestors cannot hear you. Your ancestors are no longer alive. Your ancestors are dead. And let's say you hear something from your ancestors. You hear like a spirit whispering in your ear. You hear them confirming something. You hear anything. That's also demonic. That's a demon. Because again, your ancestors are dead. That's why they're ancestors.
So just address what you just say for a second before I jump into the next video. This young lady basically says that Christians don't think that it's demonic, that, you know, our ancestors are demonic. But what they think is praying to your ancestors is demonic because why? Your ancestors have already died. They're dead. You're talking to demons, right? Okay. What about Jesus, who died on the cross for your sins? He's a dead man, but we're still praying to him. And when she said that, oh, when you hear things, if you hear things, people talking to you in your head, and or you hear your ancestors talking to you, then that's demons talking to you. How do you hear Jesus or God when he talks to you? Don't you just have an inkling? Don't you have like a hunch? You know, you pray to God for something, you have a hunch that you should go see your friend. You go and see your friend, and your friend end up giving you some money. Maybe Jesus put in their heart to give you this money that you were praying for. Could have been your ancestors who gave you a hunch.
Y'all calling the ancestors demonic. Meanwhile, this is what they over there doing at them churches.
I, Roberta McCoy, given faith and stand in unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
That's Bishop Marvin Wines. And mind you, he did that in front of the entire congregation while this woman was up there with her son giving money to the church. And while he's embarrassing her and her son, you can hear the congregation laughing in the background like something is funny. And let's not forget that just a few months back, Bishop Marvin Sapp was holding his congregation hostage until they gave a specific amount of money. Talking about close the door empty. Cause y'all a bunch of two-bit hustlers. And this is coming from somebody who believes in God and Jesus Christ. Okay, but has my own spiritual relationship with them. And y'all got mad at Deontay Kyle for saying what he said. But this is what's happening at the church. And then you got the Christian people now saying that our ancestors are demonic. Are y'all serious? I'm not even gonna ask if y'all cool, cause I know y'all not cool. But let's wrap this conversation up. Cause the demons be inside the church. That's what we need to be praying for.
So now the ancestors are demonic. You know, I have my opinions on Christianity, but I don't know if this takes the cake, but maybe it takes the cake this quarter. But this is crazy. So now y'all telling us that people that have lived on this earth and that have passed on, they're demonic. You know, I have this theory that a lot of this with Christians calling this demonic, that demonic, that demonic, I'm starting to think that it's projection. That's what I'm starting to think. Because everything evil, everything demonic that they choose. But I'm like, maybe it's y'all. Maybe y'all are the demons. Not to mention just the complete disrespect of somebody's family that have passed on. And being a people that is so about being respectful and kind and loving, how do you bring yourself to call somebody's deceased, people, how do you bring yourself to call them demonic? I just really, sometimes I just really want to sit down with someone of the Christian faith and be like, so just explain, like, just like I'm 5. Explain to me how ancestors are demonic. Explain to me how that is a thing. Let
me make sure I'm hearing this straight. So our ancestors who literally fought and sacrificed and gave up blood, sweat, tears, and literally died for us. Okay? These people had their children used as alligator bait. They were put in human zoos. They had their hair and skin used for furniture. They're demonic and they're in hell. But not the white man, not Massa, not their descendants who only have generational wealth because they stole it from us, first of all. Their ancestors are everywhere. It's on our money. It's everywhere. They have monuments for them. They're not demonic. No, they ain't demonic. Y'all tap dancing for them. But our ancestors who literally fucking died for us, they're demonic and they're in this hell that y'all have created. So y'all would rather sit up and worship Jesus. I don't know who the hell that white man is in that picture that y'all be having hung up in your houses and the churches, but y'all would rather sit up here and worship Jesus who ain't none of y'all ever fucking seen. Y'all would rather sit up and worship this fictional person, but not your actual fucking ancestors who died for you. Y'all are actually a disgrace. And I'm sorry, but some black people, y'all should have stayed slaves. You bitches should have been left behind. Because it's just a fucking disgrace. And it's sad that in 2025, this is the mindsets that y'all have. Y'all are ignorant. Y'all would do anything for white validation. Y'all want to be white so bad. Y'all don't want to be black. Y'all want to be white. Because how can you get on the internet and say that our ancestors, who we actually have proof of, we have proof that these people died for us to be able to even be here. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't even be here. And y'all gonna get on the internet and disrespect them like that? Sometimes I wish I had a rocket launcher. I'm not even gonna say what I want to say, but if you can put 2 and 2 together, because some of y'all just need that, because that's just utterly absurd to me. I just can't even believe that I'm hearing that. It's just a disgrace and it's sad. It's just so sad. It's just really fucking sad. Some of y'all were really the fucking children that were left behind. How can you say that our ancestors that died for us are demonic?
You ain't gotta agree with Deontay Kyle, whatever, bro. I'm not even here to talk about that part. Like, it's not even my job to tell you what to believe or whatnot. Like, your soul here for its own mission with its own karma that you gotta do for you. Ain't got nothing to do with me. But what we not gonna let slide, bro, is the fact that y'all saying ancestors is demonic, or even honoring your ancestors is demonic. Because if that was true, wouldn't that mean you were too? Like, for real, like, because your ancestors, they don't live outside of you. They live within you. Their blood, their memory, their strength, it's all inside of your DNA. And it's literally a term for science. They call it epigenetics. And it means like those experiences of those who came before you, they didn't just disappear. They left an energetic fingerprint on all of your genes. Like notes to tell your body when to love, when to protect yourself, you feel what I'm saying, how to survive, the whole nine. So like, even when you feel things, you feel what I'm saying, you can't even really explain when emotions like hit like overwhelmingly heavy sometimes in certain situations or environments. Sometimes that's old energy resurfacing, waiting on it to be healed through you. You feel me? And that's just the physical or the logical side to it. Like, you ain't just inherit your features, you inherit them way more than that. You inherit frequency. Every joy, every pain, every lesson your bloodline went through, bro. It's encoded in you like living memory, meaning it is not dead, it's living inside of you. Now, on a spiritual or a metaphysical level, you feel what I'm saying? Your ancestors aren't hovering around you trying to possess you like some spooky woo-woo stuff like y'all trying to make it seem, or like how y'all been programmed to believe through somebody else's mind frame of how they understood your ancestors. You feel what I'm saying? But they're expressing themselves through you, okay? You are the bridge between their unfinished stories and the future they dreamed of and the things they couldn't even imagine. Like, when you literally evolve, they evolve. When you heal, they heal. And when you finally accomplish what they couldn't, you feel what I'm saying? That energy get liberated from within you, inside and out. You feel what I'm saying? As above, so below. So that's why it's really crazy to me, but that's why showing love to yourself, if you really understood that on a deeper level, is deeper than self-care. If you do in certain things for real, it's ancestral healing, because you give love to you right? But you also giving love to every part of your lineage that didn't get to experience peace, freedom, or softness. And what do most of us got today? Like, you're loving the parts of your own soul, you feel what I'm saying, that's been waiting generations to be seen. And y'all are just disowning parts of yourself, which is cutting you off from parts of your own self, which is kind of, but no, bro. I ain't here to ramble too much, but like, for real, like, that's why I can't rock with the idea that honoring your ancestors is evil, bro. That's actually crazy. Because the same blood, bro, people pray over, the same spirit they call for protection, it's the same lineage they're being told to reject, which is, where's the disconnect in here for you? You feel what I'm saying? Like, that disconnection keeps everybody from knowing our real power, including yourself. Now, imagine if you actually remember who your ancestors exactly were before servitude. You feel what I'm saying? Like, before the programming, you feel what I'm saying? If we spoke the languages our ancestors spoke, if we practiced their spiritual practices or their sciences that they mastered, even if we moved in the same harmony, you feel what I'm saying, that they had with the earth, the sun, and the source, the creator. If you ever thought about that, like, how different would we be as people today without cutting off a part of yourself that a majority of y'all do? Like, how powerful would we be individually and collectively? You feel what I'm saying? Because honestly, the truth is, once you remember like who you come from and where you come from, for real, you stop begging for permission to be great, because you learn a lot of great ass things, and you stop looking outside for yourself. Like, you stop looking outside for what's already literally running through your veins. Now, epigenetics proves it scientifically. You feel what I'm saying? Energy proves it spiritually. But together they tell one simple truth. You are not broken. So stop breaking your motherfucking self. You're continuing. All right? Stop dropping the torch that's been passed down to you generation after generation by not even honoring what the fuck people went through before you. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you are your ancestors' next chapter, their evolution, their chance at freedom. Every breath you take is DNA remembering itself. So love yourself, bro. Because I love you. That's what I'm giving you in this message. You feel what I'm saying? Like, tough love. Learn something. Love yourself. And honor them too. For real. And watch how your whole lineage starts to heal through you in a whole new different, completely way.
Kyle, young man, on the Chicken and Grits or Eggs and Grits podcast, he gonna lead y'all straight to the ancestors that are burning in hell right now, demons. When that started to get, I started getting a lot more followers, baby, I was approached by the wicked ones.
Yo, she said she was approached by the wicked ones. She was approached by the wicked ones. Which one is the wicked ones? Like, this is one of the reasons why Christianity always going to be black people's biggest downfall in society. I said it and I'm going to say it again. It's one of the biggest control mechanism amongst black people. It's divisive and it's, I don't know, it's very bad, man. Like the way that this lady said, our ancestors are in hell burning, but not the people that put our ancestors through hell. Make this shit make sense. And this is why Christianity fuck us up so good, bro. Like Deontay Kyle's, what he was saying is, he's saying, Jesus, you calling on Jesus, because we have been calling on this man for what, 500 years? Obviously something is wrong. First of all, the letter J is just, the letter J is just become a thing, just become a letter a couple years ago, which means something is already off. You feel me? And again, if Jesus has real power, like the name Jesus has real power, we all know they wouldn't allow us to say that name. You feel me? If going to church has real power, they wouldn't allow us to go there. They wouldn't. But they deemed us from calling our ancestors. You know why? Because that's where the true power lies. Our ancestors, DNA lies with the truth. Listen, they have the information that we need. They have the information that we need. So we need to tap into them so we can get the information that we need to survive amongst these devils. Listen, our ancestors are not in hell. They're not in hell. They're right beside us. We just need to tap in. What you think the Haitian people, my brothers and sisters in Haiti, what you think they won the revolution? What you think they won? They didn't win because they call on Jesus. No, they would have lost. They would have lost. And this is why they're giving them hell, because the Haitian people are the first people that tapped in with the ancestors. So you got to make an example out of them. They tapped in with the ancestors, bro. That's pure energy. Pure energy. They're tapped in with the ancestors, so they got to keep them down so they don't do it again. That's it. So I ain't got nothing with no voodoo and none of that shit. It was labeled 80 as voodoo man and all that. Listen, man, 80. They're the truth. They're the first people to tap in with the ancestors, bro. They tapped in with the ancestors and they won that war. And this is why they putting them under so much pressure. So what Deontay Carr was saying is, he's saying, we gotta start calling on the ancestors. We got a lot. We've been on this planet, black people, melanated people right here. We've been on this planet for almost 400,000 years, if not more. But they fuck with time, right? They had 1,000 years to time, so they fuck with time, which means they throw off our balance. They throw off the balance of us. See, this is why we're not in sync with the nature, because they threw off the balance with time. They did it on purpose. We've been on this planet long time, so if there's a God, it's us. We haven't created no chaos. We haven't murdered no animals. We haven't killed the trees. We haven't enslaved no one in that time since we've been on this planet. No, everyone else did. We haven't. So if there's a devil, it's definitely not us. So when this lady talking about our ancestors in hell burning and our ancestors.
Okay. So let me get this straight. Praying to our ancestors, and our ancestors were demonic, but not the white people that enslaved them and brought them here on slave ships and literally... I don't even, like... Our ancestors are... I don't even really know what to say. Y'all niggas... I'm not gonna pray for y'all, because I would be lying if I said I was. Y'all niggas make me sick. I'm not gonna hold you. Our ancestors are demonic, but not the white people that enslaved them. Make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense. This is crazy.
Hey, so if ancestors are demonic, then when you die and you become an ancestor to your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, then that means you're going to be a demon as well. So all that being saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost will go out of the window, because you're automatically a demon because you died and are now an ancestor. You see how dumb that sounds? You see how illogical that is? Yeah. Just take 1 minute.
Think that Saul was in heaven, or do y'all think that was actually a familiar spirit and he meant that Saul was going to meet him down below? Spooky. Sorry to interrupt the tea, y'all. Make sure you follow my Instagram right here. I heard TikTok is going away, so I'm going to take all the tea to another platform. Make sure y'all follow me. Get me to 10K and I'll make a Discord. Y'all been asking for a Discord, I'll make one if you get me to 10K. Anyway, let's continue. Y'all got to understand that these demons, there's a reason why the Bible says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, because these demons, they have been around they know what makes humanity tick. They know what confuses us. That's why the Bible says that God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. It also doesn't give us a spirit of confusion. Or not God. It is so, you have to be so careful with this ancestor stuff, because these demons will take the form of someone you love or someone you look up to or someone you revere, and they will trick you. There's so many times that you will see people take the advice of the ancestors, and it's like horrible advice, y'all. My question is, when it comes to that, even if I wasn't Christian, I wouldn't co-sign to it, because if ancestors were real at one point, well, not real, alive, right, in this earthly realm, and they were imperfect people, they had jealousy, they had anger, bitterness, all the negative emotions just like we do. Why would you all of a sudden think, like, after the ancestors unalive, now they're just becoming perfect beings that have your interests, your best interests at heart? That never made sense to me. I'm not gonna trust an ancestor who was once mortal just like me. with my life's choices because they know better. Why would they know better? Do they all of a sudden become omniscient, omnipotent like God is? They don't. So how would they know what I should do? Yes, they may have knowledge from the past, things that they've learned, but if that's the case, I can ask my grandma. I don't need to ask the ancestors because she lived a long life. She's learned stuff. I'll just ask her. I don't know. It just never made sense to me. But be very careful because these demons will trick you. Why do y'all think in so many of the horror movies, the demon takes the form of the person that person loves most? Whether it be their mom or dad. Think about Mimic. I know y'all heard about the Appalachian Mountains. I know y'all heard about that. I did a whole series about it because it's so spooky. But a lot of the times, deep in the dark Appalachian Mountains, I'm about to make you scared, there's something called a mimic. And basically, it takes the voice or form of someone you love. And it was this video that this girl had up on TikTok. And she lives in the mountains. And she was waiting at the door. She heard a knock. Honey, can you open the door? She heard the voice of her mom. Then all of a sudden she looks down. Her hand is shaking. And she sees Mom. Baby, I'm running a little late. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Then the knocking gets louder. Honey, let me in, honey. Am I spooking you? That's what I mean, y'all. Don't be tricked by the mimic. Don't be tricked by them demons. Ancestors is a no-no. That's a familiar spirit. Love you. As always, y'all make sure you like, follow, and comment down below what you think.
Hey guys, just a little tip. Christians are not saying your ancestors are demonic. Like your grandparents, your parents' parents, your grand. We're not saying that they're demonic. What we're saying is that if you are praying to your ancestors, that act is demonic because your ancestors cannot hear you. Your ancestors are no longer alive. Your ancestors are dead. And let's say you hear something from your ancestors. You hear like a spirit whispering in your ear. You hear them confirming something. You hear anything. That's also demonic. That's a demon. Because again, your ancestors are dead. That's why they're ancestors.
That's only $1,200. No, see, y'all not listening to what I'm saying. I said 1,000 plus 1,000 plus. I don't want what you can afford to give. I want everything you got.
Well, Pastor, I'm going to go home and try to scrape
Go
together
do
some
that.
more.
Go on, sit down somewhere. What the hell am I supposed to do with $1,200? Matter of fact, take the $1,200 and go buy you some new outfits. I'm tired of seeing you walk around here in that same dress every Sunday.
Here go my donation, Pastor.
What the hell? Didn't I tell y'all? Don't send your kids up here if they ain't bringing no more than a 50. Take the little dollar, get your little ass back in the seat. Y'all about to make me pull a Marvin Sapp in here. Deacons, close the doors, lock them. Take everybody car keys. Everybody pull out your wallets. If you don't have cash, pull out your debit or your credit cards. We coming around with the tap. You want to leave, you pay the fee. I don't think it's free to get in heaven, no. This new mega church ain't getting built if y'all holding out. You're being cheap, coming up here with 12 funky $100
Black Americans walking around in America or anywhere, okay, those who migrated from the Caribbean, South America, wherever the transatlantic slave ships stopped. You have breath in your lungs because your ancestors endured. They fought. They survived. All did not. Everybody didn't make it. I wish my children, future grandchildren, great-grandchildren, would refer to me as a demon. Everything that those in my lineage have overcome, and if my children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren consider me a demon, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? seriously, I don't know what happened in y'all history or y'all lineage, but I hold my people up high. The things that I know intimately that 2 generations ago had to endure coming from the hellholes of the South, and y'all call them demons? Maybe y'all know something I don't, but that is a wild take.
I see another black Christian say our ancestors are burning in hell. I think I'm gonna actually lose my mind. Why are our ancestors burning in hell? We were slaves. Slavery. Where is Genghis Khan? Y'all see Tupac, Biggie, and everybody else. Where are all the actual mass murderers and rapers? Why are we in hell? What did we? It must be the same police that take us to jail now regulating hell. It must be the same people. They found a way to capitalize and colonize hell. That's why I don't want to go. That's why I don't believe in it now. Because it seems like the same structure in heaven and hell that it is in America.
If you are a person that listens to someone who tells you that tapping into your ancestors is demonic, that tapping into people that literally share the same blood as you is demonic, you can just go and delete me. No, for real. Because you're clearly not an intellectual, and the critical thinking skills ain't working. Comprehension, it ain't there. Because in that statement, they are clearly telling you 3 things. 1, they hate you. 2, they despise where you come from. And 3, they think low of you. So, you know what? You can just go and delete me. Do me a favor. Take the trash out. Take it with you, mate. Go. Because let me tell you something. Knowledge is chasing after you, and you faster than a motherfucker. Okay? You need some type of weight to slow you down, to give knowledge a chance to find you. Because, hell, we tired of this bullshit. For real.
Let's keep it a bean. If you sitting here calling your ancestors demons, cuz don't talk to me. Don't talk to me, fool. And I'm a God-fearing man. I love God, man. I grew up in the church. But God know that them folks ain't demons, so why you calling them that? God know them folks ain't demons. Why you calling them demons? We quick to say God got us through that. God helped the ancestors, all of a sudden they demons. Your ancestors who fought for our rights are demonic. The ancestors that was in fucking chains, on boats. The ancestors that got to that beach, got off that boat, and walked their ass back in the water because they didn't want to be a fucking slave. They're demons. Fuck you.
Why is it that melanated, black, Afro people are the only ones who diss their own ancestors?
The ancestors do not exist. Those are demons that you speak to. Those are spirits.
Anybody that's dead, you are worshiping a demonic spirit.
We appreciate what our peoples did for us, but we don't worship the dead.
I feel it's important that everybody has the opportunity to speak how they feel, so no bash or hate to anybody who I just previously showed. TikTok is videos for educational purposes, entertainment, all that. They have really done a number on us. So, to say that the ancestors don't exist, and anything on the other side that you have a connection to is demonic, I guess it was wrong for us to win the Haitian Revolution for us using these demonic powers. Now, y'all know what the Day of the Dead is for Mexican people. They celebrate it by cooking food for their ancestors. Anybody who passed on, hold pictures up, light candles, and have a day to actually appreciate them. Their connection to their ancestors is good enough to be in a movie. Offering food.
Look how big she's getting.
Even Asians, they have a strong connection and foundation with their ancestors. They put the pictures up, the candle, they're offering food. They get a movie too that shows the worship of their ancestors. My point is, even in the media, in our households, we demonize everything that our ancestors did. And when they did make a movie about Afro people, they demonized voodoo. Why is it that when we connect to our ancestors, it's demonized? But any other being, it gets put out into the mainstream media that it's okay. I have to cut this short. So y'all see that warning right there? I can't really say everything that I want to say. So if you want the full video, go to my YouTube. Because I post all of my content first there before I post it on TikTok.
You know what's sad about the whole Deontay Kyle saying what he said about Jesus being in a way of your gratitude? Is that people on this app, black people, are willing to denounce their whole ancestry bloodline to defend their beliefs. This is the most insanity thing I've heard on this app. Yes, you are in enemy territory. I saw a black woman on this app literally say, why would I give my ancestors gratitude? They were demons. I don't know what type of demons y'all have in y'all bloodline. Me personally, I couldn't care less what type of religion you subscribe to as a black person. Denouncing your own bloodline, basically saying your whole lineage were demons, is crazy work. Mind you, your grandma, if your grandma dies today, that's technically your ancestor. So your grandma was a demon. Look, I don't know what's going on that side. On Black Talk, I don't know what's going on over there. It must be AI, because I can't believe what I'm hearing. For those who don't understand what Deontay is saying, he's saying when it comes to gratitude, when it comes to your success, do not take yourself out of the equation. Okay? You believe in a higher power and you believe in yourself. Do not remove yourself out of the equation and the people who helped you be where you are today. The best analogy or metaphor I could give is like, let's say you was sick, terminally ill, whatever, and then you have one aunt who's good with herbs and stuff like that, and she gives you remedy at top of remedy at top of remedy at top of remedy, right? You're getting better, and you have another aunt who is praying for your well-being, and then at the end of your recovery, you only give thanks to the person who prayed for you, but you don't give thanks to the person who physically healed you. You see what I'm saying? Like, why would you not give gratitude to the person who also put in the work? You see what I'm saying? Who've learned those spices, those recipes from your great. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can give thanks to the person who prayed for you, but what about the person who put in the work? You know what I'm saying?
Well, hello, everybody. This is the Conscious Oracle, Archbishop Veronica Israel, Chief Apostle and Chief High Priestess of the Sankofa Spiritual Church of Christ Temple. Now that it's out the way, I want to ask the question. We just came out of the second night of the St. Jude Novena. And I want to ask this question, especially to those who do not practice or feel they don't practice ancestor veneration, who are against ancestor veneration. I want to ask you this question. If you believe talking to the ancestors, your ancestors are demonic, if you think that practice is demonic, and you feel that talking to your ancestors being those who've gone before you, your family members, all the way down ancient time, your ancestors, not just your immediate deceased relative, but all the way back to the beginning of your lineage. If communicating with them, venerating them, honoring their legacy, if that is demonic and evil, so you're saying your ancestors are demonic and evil. Is that what I'm to understand? Help me out. And if that is what you're saying, then how is it that that grandmother you love so much, or that great-grandmother, great-grandfather, or nana, or great-uncle, or whatever the case is, or your mother, father, that you said they were prayer warriors and saints, and they were holy and all that. How all of a sudden that now they demonic after they have gone? How is it them coming to you in a dream is evil now? Let's think about that. Because who you truly are is not the flesh that's animated. The body, this flesh and bones, skin and bones, that's not who you are. The soul, your spirit that animates the body is who you truly are. And so when that, what the Bible even says, ash to ashes, dust to dust, the body returns, but the spirit goes back to the one that gave it. So that means who you truly are, in essence, continue to live on. Energy doesn't die. It transmutes, alchemizes, it transforms. So they are still who they always are. Just elevated. Something to think about. Love you lots. Join me, San Copa Spiritual Church of Christ Temple. Follow us for more. We love you. Join us for the St. Jude Novena. Mwah!
So I grew up in one of those like semi-religious household where we performed religion, but we weren't like religious. And as I was sitting here thinking about like this demonic conversation that's happening right now, I realized that my mom never introduced me to the devil. The devil and hell were never anything that my mother ever talked about in the home. And I think because of that, I've never actually feared the devil or feared hell. Like, it was obviously after a certain age, I left the home and I went to church and I actually, like, I heard it outside of my home, but it was never talked about in my home. And so I feel like because of that, I never learned that fear. Anyways, I was just sitting here thinking about that and I found that kind of cool. I don't think she did that intentionally, but happy she did.
The fact that so many of you are worried about the demons in the afterlife and not the demons in your current life, the ones that are alive and breathing and walking amongst us, is very crazy. To say that your ancestors are demonic is crazy when you have a son, an uncle, a grandfather, a pastor, a priest, a mother, with these family secrets, i.e., molestation, rape, pedophilia, like all of these family secrets that can't get out, that whatever happens with the family stays in the family, which are demonic activities that people do. You're more worried about people who thank our ancestors, people who give grace to our ancestors and gratitude to our ancestors. You're more worried about that being demonic than your demonic ass son, or your demonic ass husband, or your demonic ass pastor. The same pastor that locks the doors and say that you can't leave until you give me $1,000 or you're going to hell. Or the same uncle who has his niece and nephew or a family friend have them sit on his lap so that he can get one off. And you know exactly what he's doing. Or the same grandfather that did something to you and you know for a fact that he's going to do something to your kids, yet you still let your kids spend the night at their grandfather's house, right? Or the same husband that you put over your child, and the abuse that husband displays on said child, and you tell the child that they are being fast or that it's their fault that it happened or that they better keep their mouth shut because you don't want to lose your husband, your pedophilic husband at that. Or the same brother, sister, or the same mother who touches up on their fucking son and thinks that their son is the same type of relationship as husband and wife, and you do very pedophilic behavior, but because you're a woman you think you can get away with it. These family secrets that you all hold are fucking demonic, and they live amongst us. They're not dead. Those are the demons that are here wandering and walking and breathing and speaking, and you know what they're doing. Yet you say as long as when they lay their head to go to heaven, as long as they ask for forgiveness, right, they're gonna go straight to heaven. But you think praying to our ancestors is demonic and that those said ancestors are in hell, the same ones that freed you from slavery, the same ones that walked with Malcolm X, the same one that walked with Martin Luther King Jr., the same ones that fought for your right to even fucking exist, breathe, live, do whatever the fuck you're doing, the same ones that allowed you to be able to hold children, have children. They're demonic, but not your demonic ass rapist ass son, or your demonic ass rapist ass husband or father or what the fuck ever. Worry less about the demons in the afterlife and instead worry about the demons in your current life. Y'all are fucking weird.
Who told us that it's not good for us to acknowledge our ancestors? Like why is that a bad thing for me to acknowledge my grandmother, who I love so much, who used to bathe me, who used to take care of me when my mother was out working hard, who introduced me to music? Why is it not okay for me to seek advice from her, even though she's no longer with me in a physical form? Why is it not okay for me to conversate or even acknowledge my great-grandmother or my great-grandfather or any of my ancestors for that matter? Because we've already learned that if we go to the graveyard to go visit them, it's a good chance that they may not even be there. It may just be an empty plot or somebody else. Why is it demonic? It doesn't make sense to me. See, when you start really like thinking about certain things that you was taught or that you was told, or that even certain religious people tell you about how it is when it comes to spirituality, you start questioning things. I remember having questions like this. I remember having questions when it comes to the Bible, and I had set up a meeting through a close friend of mine who was real close friends with the pastor. I don't know if they was close friends, but they was really tight. And we were supposed to meet up for dinner. And I remember the pastor stood me up. I remember trying over and over again, trying to go to church and feeling as if I didn't belong there. As if it was just more so all about the show and less about the word. It just didn't feel authentic to me. People didn't feel authentic to me. I never returned. In fact, I felt more at home going to the mosque and sitting with the black Muslims than I felt actually going to church. My question is this: could it be that the same people who told us not to contact our ancestors or not to acknowledge them, the same people that's actually using our powers that are supposed to be ours against us? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going to church. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with praising God. I don't put my ancestors over the Most High. That's what a lot of people got messed up and got misconstrued. You don't worship your ancestors, you acknowledge them. Why should I not have contact with my ancestors? Something that I think a lot of Black Americans, especially foundational Black Americans, need to be asking themselves, because there's a church in every hood. Some way, somehow, the people are still broken all around them. That's something to think about.
They told you your ancestors was demonic because they wanted to strip you from one of your sources of power. And the more horror movies you watch about scary indigenous tribes, the deeper you go into religious indoctrination, the further and further you get away from who you are and your true power.
And another thing, they talk about our ancestors are demons. And I'm going to say that there's a good and a bad to everything. So, I mean, if you tried to get in touch with your ancestors and they was demons, you're not calling on the right people. Unless them the people you want to speak to, hey. But, and that's kind of like a slap in the face, because we're literally a remake of all of our ancestors combined. Like, this is all my past, like, history right here in the flesh. Like, I'm a remake of so many people. I am literally my ancestors. So for you to be like, oh, they're demons, that alone shows that you don't really like yourself. But I feel like people are not going to think about that. They're not going to really get into the logistics of that, which is crazy to me. It's crazy. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, calling them demons is literally a slap to the face. It's like the way y'all speak about Jesus is low-key the way y'all supposed to be, inverse it. I don't know, the way I feel right now is the way I would feel when I was like 5 years old and somebody said fuck Jesus. Like,
y'all know what tickled me so bad? Like, that's so funny to me. The same Christians that be like, oh, I miss my grandma so bad, but I know she looking down on me. I know she's so proud of me. We call ancestral veneration demonic. Nah, bitch, Granny a demon. She's looking up. She's in hell.
Praise God. Talking about y'all want to talk to your dead ancestors. I'm a live ancestor and you disrespect me. Yeah, which one of the dead one? You'll believe the dead one, but you won't believe me, which ain't number demons. Because God say when you die, the dead don't know what the living doing. So the devil dress up as your people and make you think it's your mama and your grandma. And you stupid enough to believe it because you don't believe God's word. Evidently, God must have told a lie. Because you know better. But I know that my mama. I don't care what nobody say. Well, you calling God a lie to his face. Say, who are you to withstand God? But that's what we do. I know that was my mama. You know the lie. That's what you know. You entertain a demon. That's what you entertain. Because God ain't no liar. If God said it, I'm crazy enough to believe it. I'm going to believe God over anybody. So he said, who are you to withstand him? Who can tell God what's right and what's wrong? What your blood did? Your blood ain't saved you, not nobody else. And that's what's wrong with us. We don't know how to conform over to holiness. That's why it's so important that you pray. The more that you pray, the more humble you'll be. The more that you pray, you'll see you ain't got to voice your opinion about everything. You just hold your peace. We don't really care what the devil fly out our mouth or what we type with our hand. We don't care. Don't know you're coming against the Holy Spirit. Don't know you're coming against God's anointed. Like he was saying, this king here. He wasn't an Israelite, but God said he's my anointed. God chose him. Even though he didn't even know God. God chose him for a work. It's called God used you for a work. Yeah. Ooh, that gotta be, he's a man of God. Well, do you still think he's a man of God? That goes show you, y'all don't know Jesus. But let somebody fool y'all like that. Yeah. The pastors and none of you know Jesus. They be deceived. That's a shame. That's because you ain't got no prayer life. When you got a prayer life, God ain't gonna let you be deceived. We be deceived because we ain't know how to pray.
That girl hopped on this internet and called our ancestors, even her ancestors, demons. And they are in hell. There is truly a crisis. And these are the type of videos I really try to avoid. I really try not to engage because,
When you say, oh, God spoke to me, it was your ancestors. This whole my ancestors are demonic rhetoric is the exact thing that I'm talking about. Anything outside of God or Jesus is named demonic. Anything that is named demonic, you need to run towards at this point. That is what's going to help you. Praying to anything other than Jesus, praying to anything other than God, they have labeled demonic. And it makes you wonder why. Our ancestors are literally up there whispering in our ears 24/7. They're the motherfuckers who talking to you.
Like, why are y'all confused that they're calling ancestors demonic? Like, it's kind of like disrespectful when you pay homage to history and Black History Month to say that your ancestors are demonic, but what do I know? As a spiritual person, not a religious person, I often get called demonic all the time. And like, even when I was talking to somebody, like, he literally called me a devil worshiper because I didn't have the same views on religion as him. Blocked immediately because you're fucking delusional. Like, you hit women, but I'm a devil worshiper, and I'm wrong because I don't believe in the same things as you. Okay.
Deontay Kyle has got us all talking. He has gone viral because of his assertion that Jesus is in the way of our gratitude and our connection to our ancestors. We are very interested in this conversation. A conversation was had today before my phone went dead during our live, y'all on record, and 100% full disclosure. I believe in connection to and veneration of our ancestors, and I also feel what Deontay described. I truly think of it as the system, the religion, that is in between us, and especially between Black women, and true liberation. It's a very important time for us to be having this conversation. But y'all know I stay out of men's business. I'm not remotely interested in men's business, except to, I think, have good judgment and good sense. The 92%, we talk a lot about our mission and our passion. I think Deontay Kyle and I think Mark Lamont Hill have a mission and a purpose, and it has to do with the message that they give to young men, and I am 100% here for it. Look for me and Divine Alchemy's lives in talking about Black women's spiritual awakening and power ascendancy, and what our spirituality and our energy has to do with that. We owe ourselves the conversation. Anybody know Antichrist? And people's ancestors are not demons. Suggesting that my grandmother, Mrs. Myrtle Lenore Jones, is a demon, or my are you, y'all? See, that's why we need to have the conversation. Our ancestors are not demons. See, this is what he means. Anyway, the conversation will be had, and sorry, phone went dead today, y'all. We talked until I said I could talk until that phone went dead. But look for further conversation.
This Black Christian told me, how in the world can Christianity be anti-Black? I said, did you study voodoo yet? Voodoo? That's witchcraft. You see what I'm talking about? This one.
Whether or not you believe Deontay Kyle is right or wrong, what we're not going to do is call our own ancestors demons. How would your ancestors be demons? Your ancestors. Demons?
Let's clear this as three. You don't need a connection with the spirit realm. You just need a connection with the Holy Spirit.
That I have to make a video about this because it's our own people who are calling our ancestors demonic. But go to church every Sunday and pray to a man that claims to have died, right? Jesus died. Technically, he is an ancestor, right? If we're going to really be honest about this. And also, when you go up to the altar to pray, you are praying at the altar, which is what spiritual people do. You know, you go to your altar and you pray. Everyone's grandma has a prayer room. Everyone's grandma has a closet room that they pray at. And then you go to the church and you donate money in exchange for something else. That's like burning ancestral money, praying to your ancestors so they can bless you in a way. But you're also giving money to the church so God can help you in a way. So you're technically giving offerings to a dead man in the church. You know what I mean, right? And then also the same people in the church who are telling you lies on a daily basis, because those pastors, when they go to pastoral college, they know the truth. They know what's going on, but they choose to lie to you on a daily basis and tell you that, oh, you're worshiping some dead man. And they'll tell you a story about how, you know, Jonah was in the stomach of a fish. Imagine if a spiritual person told you, like, oh, they were swallowed by a fish, and then 3 days later, they come back to life. You wouldn't believe it, but you believe a Bible or a book that tells you that some men were swallowed by a fish, and the fish took them to where they needed to be, and the fish throw them up so they can go and fulfill their mission, right? But you believe all this, and you believe all the dead people in the Bibles who they tell you, oh, those people are no longer alive, clearly. But you're also always praying to them, reading their words, and hoping that your situation will change, which it never does, right? That's like you praying to God for a solution, praying for your aunt who's in a hospital. You're praying that God will come, Jesus will come and help you, but then your aunt died, you know? It's very, very strange that a lot of Christians are calling their ancestors demonic. Okay, so for example, right? If you do a lot of mental work, so you work with like skull candles, or skulls anyways. Christian people absolutely hate seeing like skulls and skulls and what do you call this? Skeletons, you know, and science class is normal. But if you were to put it outside your house as Christmas, as Halloween decoration, it's demonic. But you're calling a skeleton demonic. Don't you have it inside of you? You have it inside of you. A skull, for example, I have a cup that's a skull. It's a black skull, and I'm born in November, so you know Halloween is my thing.
But whenever I drink out of that skull, my mom, if she see it, or my sister, they'll say, oh, Tivisa, c'est un job. This is the devil. But it's a skull. It looks like your head. So when you die and, you know, everything comes off, you have this skull in your head. So how is it so demonic when you also have it in your body? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. So all of this calling our ancestors demonic, the ones who paved the way for us, the ones who were there to do what needs to be done when it came to slavery and all that stuff, they passed away. Now they're our ancestors. Instead of us, you know, thanking them for what they've done, now we're calling them demonic. Why? Because they've died. But then you go into the Bible, into the Bible, you read words that you supposedly are supposed to help you, but those are words of dead people. So if we're going to call every dead person demonic, we're going to call all of them demonic. Why using the dollar bill? Why using the $20 bill when there's ancestors on those dollar bills? And every single time you use this dollar bill, unless you put a chart, you charge the dollar bill saying, you know, as you're handing it to the cashier, you say, this money will come back to me multiply. You're literally just using the ancestors' energy and not getting anything back in return, right? Yes, you're buying with the money, but also you're not charging it with your own personal energy so it can do the work for you, you know? So you're technically still using ancestral stuff to better your life. But instead of using your own ancestor that could possibly want to see you thrive, you're using somebody else's ancestor. But let me tell you one thing about ancestors, right? So for example, you want to do some money work. But you have an ancestor who used to be super stingy, and they used to, you know, don't know how to manage their money. You're calling upon that said ancestor, it's not going to be good, because that person in the spirit doesn't become all of a sudden good with money, or they don't become less stingy. They're the same kind of people. And so if, for example, a white ancestor did not like you because you're black and you were a slave, when they die, it's not going to change. Because the energy does not change, it simply transfers. You know, it doesn't die, it simply transfers. So the same ancestral money that you're using could be, you know, maybe it's not working in the best favor for you. This might be a terrible example. But what I'm saying is, if a white person was racist, they had slaves and all that stuff, when they die, their energy does not change. It stays the same. As a matter of fact, their own children might be venerating them and actually tapping into their energy so they can, you know, help them be more of what they were already, because it doesn't die. It simply just transfers to the next person and the next person, the next person. So for example, there's a white person. Hey guys, I'm Jenny, and this is Shameless Plug. So I want to tell you guys about my Crown of Success manifestation book with easy, simple rituals and spells to manifest a life of abundance in your life. And those spells are so easy, even a child can do it. So this book is filled with different spells that I've learned over the years from my family, passed down from grandma and everything. And also those are spells that I've actually tried and I know that they work. So this book not only teaches you step by step on the things that you can do that are so easy that a child can do it, but it tells you like the proper moon phase to use, alchemy, manifesting with numbers, numerology, and also the days of the week that best fit for this particular spell. So it tells you the timing of when to practice the spell, the days of the week, the moon phase. It shows you all the colors of the candles that you should be using and different planets. So for example, I show you like planet Jupiter is for Thursdays and the hours of the days that you should be doing the spell. So this is an easy road opener spell. So I know a lot of people like to do like different spell work, but if your roads are blocked, of course your spells are not going to work. So it's good to unblock yourself first and then start using the spell, especially with the new years and the new days to come. And also I have some amazing spells in here. This is a powerful quick money spell. So if you're in a bind for some money and you're just trying to get some money, and I even have some easy powerful spell to win game of chance. So if you are a gambler, now I don't promote gambling, but if you are a gambler and you're just trying to make some money and trying to make sure you win, these spells will definitely help you. It tells you the best days to do it. So it says the best days to perform this spell is on a Thursday, Jupiter day. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune, luck, and expansion. Jupiter is the best day to perform spells that boost luck and increase your chance of success in any game of chance or any money spell, period. It has a list of so many spells that you can incorporate in your life with this new year to bring prosperity. And I even put some bonus spells on here, which for Saturday is a day to do like protection work. So I have a spell for like send back to sender. So I put some bonus spells on here, and then a protection with Archangel Michael. So there's so many spells on here. Removing the evil eye spell, so you can remove evil eye in your money and also in your everyday life. New Year home blessing spell, and I know it's been a few days since the new year started, but you can always do a home blessing spell any days of the week. As long as you need it, you could do it. So anyways, guys, this is my book. It's called Crown of Success by Jenny, and it's available on Amazon, the ebook and also the physical copying. So please grab a copy if you're interested in supporting this channel. This is a way to support the channel and to support me as well for putting out, content every day for you guys. So enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this book, and I hope you go and grab your copy, whether it's the ebook or the physical copy. I say have a physical copy, but it's really up to how much, your wallet and what you can afford. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Mwah. This is a shameless plug, so just check out my channel, okay? Love you guys. Mwah.